Hello, everybody. Welcome to We'd Rather Be Reading. I'm Jerrica.
And I'm Lia. How are you today?
I'm good. I still have a baby in me, so that's...
Outrageous.
I
mean, she's still not technically due to be born,
no?
But it's still outrageous. You look like you're about to pop. So
I know.
Yeah.
I was reading all of these, chat room conversations in my app for my pregnancy app, and they were saying... Oh, what's with all the moms who want to have the baby to come early? Just be patient. The baby's going to come out when it wants to come out. And a lot of this support of enjoy the last moments of being one together. And then one of the moms commented and said, if one more person tells me to be patient and that I'm not enjoying this baby being in me, I'm going to blow my head off. And I was like, yes.
But I mean, you've had plenty of months of enjoying this baby.
This is, it's yes, we have 9 days left, but this baby has been in me for 300 days.
That's a lot of days.
It's a lot of days.
It's time for the dad to do his part and hold that baby for a little bit. I mean, you've carried her a lot.
I know, but COVID regulations, this dad's only getting to come in to watch me push it out, and then he's got to go.
Yeah, but once you're home.
Okay.
Then you just pass the baby off and be like, here, do your part.
Yes. Now you raise it. Bye.
9 months. Then you can give it back. Equality.
Equality. Oh, I like it.
Great.
Good plan.
If dads could breastfeed.
There's this hilarious post on Instagram. My little sister just had a baby a month ago, and her whole family got COVID. And of course, when a man gets COVID, it's a different story.
Cold, right?
It's a man cold, right?
A man COVID.
Yeah, man COVID now. And the post on Instagram was this woman, and she just had a bitch face on, and she was carrying a baby, and the text on the bottom said, when your husband with his useless nipples tells you he's tired.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah.
Yeah, I still remember when, it's many years since my eldest was a teeny tiny baby,
though.
But he did the horrible cluster feedings, which was the bane of my existence. And then he would just nurse for hours and hours, and he always chose to do this at 1 a.m. until 5 a.m, and you're like, this is not the time where anyone wants to be up and do this thing.
Can you put the baby on JF and see if it will try to...
I tried, but I would literally just sit with this baby and cry, and Jay would be there going you have to do this. You can't... I'm doing it. It's too much. So emotional. So emotional. Yeah.
Well, to keep my mind off of things, I have been reading and listening to books.
Good.
And I finished 2 recently for our podcast, in fact.
I had a student parent teachers conference for my son today, and one of his teachers kept saying that my son looked like he would rather be anything else or rather do anything else during lesson. And every time he would say, he looks like he would rather be, and I'm like, reading. Reading. It's not what he would rather be doing, but it was what I would rather be doing. But it's good that you're reading.
Yes.
So many good books. So many debut books. What is this? Debut novels. We've fallen into
an
accidental theme.
It's definitely accidental and surprising also. And we have read only debut novels this year.
Yeah.
How weird is that?
It's like a virgin year.
What? This is an Immaculate Conception baby? I'm birthing Jesus?
It's the virgin books, the first one. I don't know. It was a bad
We'll go on a
analogy.
virgin theme this year. Let's do it. Yeah. And in fact, in one of our books,
we need all of our authors to be virgins to write.
Oh, no!
And write sex scenes the way they think that sex should be.
Yes, I need to read this.
This would be hilarious.
That would be hilarious.
So much. We need to have more virgins writing sex scenes.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That is so good.
We'll do this. Okay, good. We just need to find some virgins.
That sounds bad.
Without going too young. Yeah. This is going to be a challenge. We'll get back to you on how our search is going.
God. Yes, our new search for virgins. Please don't put this out as a PSA or tell anybody else that we are doing this. Virgin authors wanted.
With smutty romance novels. Oh God.
Yes.
All right. No. This week we read a debut novel. I don't think by a virgin, but who knows?
Never.
The status was not in her bio, so we can't be sure. The book was The Demon, the Hero, and the City of Seven by A.E. Kincaid, and it was released fairly recently, actually, on December 14th last year.
Nice.
By Third and Dragon. And we read this book. Both of us read it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's even an audiobook for
Probably
this. I
not
haven't
yet.
found one. And E.A. Kincaid is the creative director at a branding studio in Iowa,
Cool.
if you didn't know that. And by night, she writes humorous fantasy novels. And
It's true. It's funny.
yeah.
From page 1.
I don't think she's a virgin because it says here she has a kid. So, no.
Maybe
Unless it was
conception.
immaculate conception. But I don't think so. She also has a cat.
Did not birth a cat, though.
Let's hope not. If she's giving birth to babies and kittens, that's quite something. And this is her first published novel. So another debut. And we read some absolutely amazing debut novels so far this year. This one was maybe not quite in the same caliber as Eleanor Oliphant and as The Firekeeper's Daughter. But nevertheless, it was a funny, humorous fantasy novel. So this book follows... we're in the country of Withershins, I believe, and we follow the hero, Reginald, and the demon, Malgon, who have accidentally been magic together when they broke a stone with connection magic.
Yeah.
And it turns out that in Withershins back in the days, the hero-demon pairing used to be quite common. So common that there was a lot of demons running around. So then they did this bureaucracy thing where you had to do an application to become a hero, and if you forgot to check a box, then you would get automatically paired with a demon. But most people double check their work before sending in their application, so no demon has been sent to Earth for 500 years. Until Reginald forgets to check his box and gets stuck with Mal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Can I just say something about the very beginning of this book?
Yeah.
Do you know I read probably 13%, like a good chunk of the book, thinking Mal was a girl?
Fair enough. Mal's not a girl.
And no, they are both men. And I was expecting like that they were gonna fall in love.
But I still expected they're gonna fall in love. I think they're gonna fall in love. Not in this book, but I think in following books. And basically they broke this stone with connection magic that then jumped over and connected them together. So now they cannot even be like more than a few feet away from each other until they get magically smashed back together.
That's a really clever plot.
And this is cramping Mal's style a little bit. Like, he's trying to go off and have an awesome threesome, and then Reginald, drunk, decides to walk in the opposite direction, and this turns hilarious with the whole threesome actually being smashed into Reginald. I wasn't sure about how that worked, but that was what happened anyways, and on stage and everything.
They're all connected somehow in that way.
Somehow. And they now need to find someone who can unconnect them and also fix the stone, because the unfortunate side effect of the stone breaking is that the barrier between the underworld and Withershins, like the top world, has been thinning, and a portal keeps flickering in and out. And through said portal comes Mal's quite a lot more awesome older brother. And he starts looking for Mal, because he wants the stone to not be fixed. He wants the barrier between the underworld and Withershins to be like erased, kind of thing, so demons can have their pick. So Mal and Reg are on this mission, and Mal is, he's a demon, so he likes to do mischief, and he keeps getting them into these unfortunate situations where they're never going to be welcome back to pretty much any place they've gone, because Mal keeps messing things up. Not really out of maliciousness, just kind of out of incompetence and stuff. And Reginald is very meek and trusting. I don't know. How would you describe Reg?
Like he's like a weak man.
He's a weak man. He's like
He's a ginger weak man.
A ginger weak man. Yeah, a ginger weak man. Let's call him that. And they end up in accidentally being captured by little elves, where they have to lie their way to get out of there. And then they can get help by this dwarf and have to escape this snake, this big snake-like creature in somewhat of the underworld, but not the same underworld that Mal is from. And then they get captured by a giant and put in a cage.
Yeah.
And they have to smash their way out of the cage with their smashing magic.
Yeah.
And then they end up in the City of Seven, where the wizards are. And they have a school there, like Harry Potter style school kind of thing, where the two nerdiest of all the students get to take care of them.
Yes.
Yes. And they get told that the headmaster will not fix their enchantment because it uses change magic, and change magic is too unstable and can create too much chaos, basically. But there's another professor there who disagrees with this assessment and wants to do change magic on them. And then they kind of betray each other. Both Mal and Reginald betray each other a little bit towards the end, and they end up almost doing the change magic. But it turns out the professor is working with Mal's brother. God, I'm terrible at describing this book.
Yeah.
This is not working out. I am sorry. I should have written down better notes. I stopped after the barrier thinning.
Okay.
But anyways, they failed to fix this connection magic, and they're still stuck together at the end of this book.
Yeah. But they've become friends now.
Yeah, they are getting closer, and we are seeing more of a connection. And I think we're going to watch this grow in the following books.
Right.
And I think there's going to be love here too. And I think with Mal, because he's been... he's a demon, yes, but he's not like a good demon. He doesn't have his horns and his tail yet because he hasn't done like all of these evil deeds yet.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to find that Mal is actually going to turn... Like, this connection magic is going to turn him good. Maybe turn Reginald a little bit evil, too. Because he needs a little bit of a spine.
Spice.
Yeah.
I like it.
I think so. But, yeah, that was pretty much what happened. It wasn't a very long book.
It wasn't long. And also, throughout it, I was thinking, this feels like a second book. Like, where you're on a journey.
Yeah.
And not... I mean, like, some action, of course, happens. But I feel like that the writer might have already had these characters in her head for a while. Mm-hmm. So when she wrote them down, she wrote them so familiar without giving us that much of a background to get to know them, like, deeper.
Yeah, I think... I hear what you're saying, and I think that that's a very interesting point. And I think what this book could have maybe benefited from would have been like a first section of how Reginald decided to go on this hero quest in the first place. Yeah. Because heroes of the olden days were like fantastical heroes with swords and whatnot, but heroes these days are like glorified errand boys, is what they keep saying.
Yeah.
So why would he choose to become a hero in the first place? And
oftentimes these books have like 0.5s that come out afterwards.
Yeah.
So that would be cool to read a little tiny novella about the before.
Yeah. And then we could have also seen like what happened to the stone when they broke it.
Yeah.
Because it's unclear where they got the stone from in the first place.
It's already happened. The magic that connects them.
And how it connected them. And
where the magic comes from.
Yeah. But I mean, maybe this will be all explained later on. Because, I mean, we did get snippets of the before throughout the book.
Yeah.
As they're telling their story and as they're meeting other people. And we know also that there's 3 stones in total. Because the giant talks about 3 stones. But no one else seems to know about the other stones.
No.
And we don't know who made the stones.
No, there's a lot of unknowns.
Yeah.
Which is why there's going to be more books. 2 more.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think so. I think 2 more books. And I mean, it was unlike most of the stories that we do read because it was very funny. Like it was
very funny.
Humorous the way it was written, and it was meant to be funny, not just wow, this writing is so bad that I'm going to laugh at it. Funny, haha. But actually,
did you feel though that you were, not that this is a bad thing at all, because I think that it made me connect to the story more, but I felt like it was a female talking. Like maybe not Reginald, but the humor behind it made me feel like one of my friends was talking to me.
Maybe I didn't really pick up on that.
You felt like masculine whole way through?
No, but I feel like Mal was very maybe fluid in a way. Like he was even with the threesome, like he picked out his handsome boy and this good-looking girl, and he got together. And he seems to be very not on the straight path. Yeah, I think. So maybe that was it. And I mean, he cared a lot about what he wore. It was funny with his
But I liked the humor. It wasn't like harsh humor, No, it was like funny. Very witty, very clever.
We forgot to talk about the cover too. This is the cover, yeah. And he's got the... I'm guessing that's the city of seven there at the top. Like it's got a city on top of a mountain kind of thing. And then we have our Reginald and Malgon, which have much longer legs than I would have thought that they would have. There seems to be lots of letters floating around too. Were there letters in this book? I can't remember. There was one letter with but it was the one in the crystal that he got from his brother and saying like, "Oh, good work on whatever."
Maybe it means something else.
But I mean, I did pick this up based on the cover. I found this book. It was recommended somewhere, and I thought it sounded interesting to have a funny book. Like we haven't read anything funny in a while. We read serious stuff, very serious stuff, and even more serious stuff, but super serious. Cry stuff. So we needed some humor, and this was definitely humorous. So, but would you have picked it up?
I think that from looking at this title, I would assume that there's a little bit of like these... Coraline book. Mm-hmm. And sure, like I love like dead stuff. Like it looks a little spooky deady to me. Yeah. And fantasy, of course.
Yeah, and this was proper fantasy.
Proper.
No ambiguity here.
No genre discussion. No deep genre discussions for me today.
And no trigger warnings for this book.
No,
I didn't have any trigger warnings whatsoever. No. Could be read by anyone. There's a little bit of a graphic description there with the threesome that maybe some children would want to stay away from.
So like an age limit, but this is not a virginal book.
But apart from that, I think this could be read by anyone. And this is the kind of book that I would maybe recommend to... I would probably recommend this to my son. I think he might like this. Like, it's funny, and he likes funny books.
Oh, yeah, cool.
So that's the kind of book that I would recommend to him, because anything that's not funny. Like, I tried to get him to read Six of Crows for, like, forever, and he was like, nah, it's boring.
Oh.
But this, he would probably appreciate, because it's like they're smashing together, and it's funny, and there's people are being hilarious, and there's funny names and whatnot. No, I would recommend it to him.
I like it.
Would you recommend it?
Yeah. I don't know if it, like, to the regular style of readers that I, read these, like, romance fantasies, more or less. So, it's definitely not in that genre.
No.
Somewhere in between. Yeah.
But I feel like this skews a little bit younger.
Yeah.
But I can't really say why. I just kind of feel like it skews a little younger.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like a YA full-on either. So maybe it's just...
But I would recommend it. It is it is really funny humor.
Yeah.
In a fantasy, which is not always the combination that you expect. So good job.
Yeah, good job. And good work on fantasy novels, debut novels.
I know, right.
And keep writing, because I do want to know what happens in this.
Yeah, me too.
Definitely. I would read book 2 and 3 and 0.5 when you decide to write about what happens before.
Because now I need it. This is a personal request.
We have now decided that we need to know what happened before. So please write us that book. Thank you. And for next week, we are reading Serpent and Dove by Shelby Maharan.
Yes.
So... this is a big one, so you better get reading quickly.
Get on it.
Get on it.
See you later.
See you later. Bye.
We'd Rather Be Reading is an original podcast by Jerrica and Lia and
Theme music for The Penguins, written and performed by David Allred from the album The Transition, courtesy of Erased Tapes. Please check him out on Spotify and check us out on social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram at We'd Rather Be Reading and on Twitter at We'd Rather Read. You can also email us at we'dratherbereadingthepod@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.